All right, Pac-Manians. I think this one should be a quick one for you today. This is how we use the units of time conversion sheet. So hopefully you've got this printed out. It is basically the same principle, but it's kind of like, for me, it's the most fun sheet because it gets pretty crazy when you go from seconds to years. But the same principle applies. We have years over here and seconds over here. So these are small, right? So I'm gonna need lots of these for equivalent of anything over there. These are gigantic, so I don't need as many. If I was converting seconds to years, I wouldn't have lots and lots and lots of years. I'd have very few, like a part of a year. So that's all I gotta do. It works in the same respect. If I have a whole number, that means I'm gonna multiply. So if I wanna convert minutes to seconds, I'm gonna multiply by 60. If I wanna convert hours into seconds, I multiply by 3,600. If I wanna convert hours into minutes, I multiply by 60. So everywhere there's a whole number, again, I'm just gonna multiply, right? And everywhere that I see, again, still fractions, that means I would divide. If I wanna go from minutes to days, I would divide by 1,440. If I wanted to go from minutes to hours, of course, I would divide by 60. That makes sense. If I want to go from seconds to weeks, I would divide by 604,800. I'm not going to ask you to do those types of things, but it's just kind of funny to look at. So it works exactly just like everything else, okay? If you look at these over here, months, it's about 30 days. You know that not all months have 30 days, but that's what we're using for that. So if you want to go over to month, it's a lot of seconds. If you go over to year, it's a super lot of seconds. I don't even think I could fit the number in there unless I used exponents. So I think that's pretty funny. It's about 30 days, 4 weeks. So anyway, it's working in the same way. So if I wanted to go from months to weeks, I would multiply it by 4. If I wanted to go from months to days, I would multiply it by 30, even though it's not exact, okay? So that's the way we're gonna use it if it does come up, which I don't think it does. All right, here's a couple of examples. 180 minutes is how many hours? Well, I take 180 minutes, I go down to hours, it's the 1/60th, so that means I divide by 60, okay? And so 180 divided by 60, don't forget, if I have 180 divided by 60, I can cross those zeros off. What's 18 divided by 6? That is, of course, 3, because 3 times 6 is 18. I get 0 left, so I know that that's 3, right? Which is what I have here. 5 years is how many months? Well, I go over to years, and I go down to months. It's a whole number, so I know that's a multiply by 12. 5 years is 5 times 12, which is 60, right? Easy peasy. If I wanted to go from day to seconds, I would multiply however many days by 86,400. So there's some fun stuff you could play around with this kind of thing and get really huge numbers. Like how many seconds are in a week? 604,800. How many of them are in 5 weeks, right? Now we're looking at 3 million. So some pretty cool stuff. The only hard part about the lesson coming up tomorrow is going to be elapsed time. And I'm strongly considering doing an extra just video lesson, not with the lesson, of some strategies that I would use to do elapsed time. It's probably one of the hardest things that we have to do all year. All right, it's the last lesson, then we'll do review and have a test. All right, see ya.